alongside Toronto Blue Jays reporter Keegan Matheson of MLB.com and the host of OverDrive on TSN 1050, Bryan Hayes. And guys, Trey Savage made all the necessary adjustments here in Game 6, did everything the Blue Jays could have possibly asked of him, went 5 2/3, just gave up those 2 runs. It got a little dicey, though, in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, but the Toronto Blue Jays pulling off back-to-back inning-ending double plays. How impressed were you by the Blue Jays defense?
That's incredible, because when Cal Raleigh stepped up in the 3rd inning there, Jen, you started to get those feelings of Game 5. Here it comes all over. And I typically don't think of Trey Savage as a defender. We have not seen him need to do that. Hasn't done it in the big leagues, that ground into a double play, and only twice in 98 innings in the minor leagues. He's typically the strikeout guy. So for him to be able to go over and cover that bag on that fantastic throw from Vladdy, which is such an underrated part of his game, big moment there, and then 2 more after it. Ridiculous. Amazing the 3 lined up.
Yeah, it really was incredible, and it's something that they have really prided themselves on all year, being very strong defensively, and that was a big turning point tonight. Seattle was awful defensively tonight. It hurt them. The Jays made them pay, and really when you consider Savage showing up in the moment that he had, weren't sure what we were going to get out of him tonight, right? Felt more certain of what we might see when he stepped on the mound in Game 2 because of what we saw in the Diaz. But man, did he recover, and he pitched beautifully tonight. And getting out of those jams allowed him to go deeper into the game. That's so significant. If Raleigh gets a hit there in the 3rd, maybe Crawford in the 4th, the whole complexion of the game clearly changes. And you never know until you get to the finish line, the biggest moments of the game. It was the biggest play of the game. The defining play was the double play. It was a double play clinic by the Blue Jays tonight.
The Blue Jays had to go to their bullpen then after 5 2/3 for Savage. The bullpen has been a very delicate issue the last 48 hours or so, ever since Cal Raleigh hit that solo home run off of Brendan Little in the 8th inning in Game 5. What did you think of how Schneider handled his bullpen in Game 6?
I like this idea more. It seemed to work a little better today, staying away from the lefties and going right to Jeff Hoffman, right to your best reliever in the biggest spot of the game. And if I'm going to lose, that's how I want to lose. Your best guy on the mound, going best on best, leaving the matchups out the window unless they're really extreme. And I thought that going from Varland to Hoffman is what the Blue Jays need to be doing more of, putting out their best relievers in these spots. Sir Anthony Dominguez will be another option in that, I think, in Game 7. But the 2 innings from Hoffman, I did not think we'd see that. He was doing that a lot earlier in the season, Brian, those 2-inning outings, some fantastic ones when he was at his best. But that's a big one, his best performance as a Jay.
Absolutely, and their back was up against the wall tonight, literally. It wasn't necessarily in Game 5, but they made a mistake. John Schneider and company, they made a massive mistake. It cost them in Game 5. I give them credit for not doubling down on it. We knew we weren't going to see Brendan Little tonight. That was not going to happen, but they could have gone to Mason Fluharty, right? They could have brought in Eric Lauer. They could have gone to a different arm. They didn't. I agree with you. Go with your best on best. You don't have to continue to make the same mistakes. They didn't tonight. They handed the ball off to Hoffman, and he was great, right? He faced the meat of the order in the 8th inning. 4 strikeouts. He gets them through the game tonight. We reset. I'm not sure we'll see him tomorrow. I'm not sure if he'll be available. They're paying lip service to it right now, but it was a very necessary adjustment that they made. They should have made it 2 nights ago, but that's behind them. They have a chance now. If you win Game 7, no one's going to remember what happened in Game 5.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Game 7. It's going to be a monster Monday in Toronto. Winner of the game goes on to face the LA Dodgers in the World Series. Shane Bieber's going to show for Toronto. It'll be George Kirby going for Seattle. What does Toronto need to do to win this baseball game?
This is why they got Shane Bieber. I know we've said that a few times in a row now, but this is the type of start you want a former Cy Young Award winner pitching in. And I know that Vladdy's the cheat answer. It's the easy answer I can come back to always, no matter what, but they need him. He is the best player in baseball right now. He's the hottest hitter in baseball right now. This is what Blue Jays fans have been dreaming of for almost a decade, is Vladdy showing up and giving them a new memory. Not those 15 and 16 teams anymore. We've talked enough about them, but a new one, and Vladdy's got a chance to do that. He's on fire.
Absolutely, he is. And outside of Game 1 of this championship series, it's been about scoring runs, right? We're not seeing any 2-1, 3-2, like nail-biting games. It's generally who gets out early and who can continue to pad the lead. That's what the Blue Jays did tonight. So it is going to be offense, clearly. Bieber goes without saying. What Schneider and company do with the bullpen goes without saying. But Vladdy and these unsung heroes, I think we got to drop the word unsung when you talk about a guy like Ernie Clement. He's not an unsung hero anymore. He's just a hero for this team. Addison Barger's been great for this team. They're going to have to show up, and someone's likely going to have to play hero. If it is a tight game, late in the game, someone's going to have to play hero. That's the beauty of Game 7.
It was looking ominous for this team after dropping the first 2 games of the series at home, but the Blue Jays, they rallied back again. They've won 3 of the last 4 games, and now will face a Game 7 tomorrow night. Just the second Game 7 in Blue Jays franchise history. The other one being 40 years ago when the Jays lost to the Kansas City Royals in the 1985 ALCS.